The latest series on In the Field with Goulds Water Technology, called Small Business Toolbox, provides groundwater pros like you with info and resources to help you run your business more effectively. Enjoy the show. Hi, my name is Amanda Holloway. I'm here with my co-host Griffin, and welcome to In the Field with Goulds Water Technology. It's a podcast series on solving water, which is a Xylem podcast. We're recording live today from NGWA 2019 in Las Vegas, and we're going to be talking right now with Russell Rauch from Hughes Supply out of North Carolina, as well as Susan O'Grady from Xylem, and talking a little bit about profit sharing, incentivizing employees to perform well, and then also employee retention.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here. Can you just give us a little bit of background on yourself, Russell?
I'm Russell Rauch with Hajoca Company, doing business as Hughes Plumbing and Pumps in North Carolina.
And I'm Susan O'Grady. I'm the Director of Marketing for Xylem, and I've been in the industry about 21 years.
Great. So what are the kinds of things that you do? How long have you been in the industry? Sorry.
I've been in the industry for 17 years with Hajoca Corporation as a profit center manager. As a profit center manager, I lead a team of people to do their best. Before I did that, I worked for the Park Service.
Okay. Great.
I used to build design parks, and selling water pumps is quite different than building a park.
Just a little.
Right. So I tell people I used to have a wonderful job with the best view in the world in the Colorado Park Service.
Oh, wow.
And now I work with the Hajoca Company, and I work with the best people I've ever worked with.
Wow, great.
And my office doesn't even have a window.
So how did you make that transition, if I may ask, from parks to pumps?
Well, when I worked for parks, I used to build design parks, and I got industry experience doing that.
Okay.
I came to work for the wholesale business in the Carolinas, back where my family is, in the early 2000s.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm here.
That's great. So let's get into the topic at hand a little bit, which is, again, talking about employee retention, profit sharing. Can you explain, a little bit about how the employment landscape in the industry has changed over the years?
Well, the whole industry has changed over the years, especially in the wholesale market. We've left the golden age of wholesale market, wholesaling. Wholesaling now is quite different. It's not about the traditional golden age. It's more about the information age. Everything's so focused on information.
Sure.
So our job is now more focused on providing customers information, whether that be through new technology, new apps, web order entry. Today, 13% of the plumbing and well products sold in America are sold via e-commerce. And it's forecasted to be over 30% by the year 2030. And so how do we play in that market? How do we give customers the information they need about water pumps, about the capabilities we have, about the technologies we have?
So on the employment side, do you have some tips you can share with listeners about how to retain great employees?
Well, the number one tip we use is to retain great employees, you need to hire great employees. It all starts there. We use the old acronym SWAN.
Okay.
That's someone who's smart, works hard, ambitious, and nice. And by nice, we mean has chemistry, can talk with each other, can talk with the teammates, can talk with customers, can talk with vendors. And so smart, when you hire someone, you can test that. You can give IQ testing. We give everyone who works for us an IQ test.
Wow, okay.
Because we want everybody to be smart. Not just work hard, but be smart. But we also want people to work hard. And so we want both of those. Often you hear people say, work harder, not smarter. Well, if you have both, that's the best that you can have.
Right.
This is kind of funny. So Amanda and I, when we got hired, our boss, one of her questions was very similar to that, but she asked, which one are you? Are you smart? Do you work hard? Like she kind of, and then you had to like back up.
Most important to
like
you
what was
like,
the most important of those? So it was the same kind of framework, which is I think it's pretty.
Well, I think the best answer is both.
Yeah,
all three.
Is when we were interviewing some colleagues in Italy, and he's like, "Well, I can't say work hard because nobody works harder than Americans." You know, so he's like, I can't say that one. So it's interesting. I think we share similar framework in like hiring. I think so as well.
Right.
So.
It takes a long time to find those people. You always need to be looking for that person on your team. Even if you don't have a job out there, you need to always be looking for that ambitious person, for that nice person. But a lot of people don't look to make sure they're smart before they hire. I mean, you can look at college, you can look at other things, but an IQ test, a Wonderlic test, or any other test by a psychologist on site is a great way to test employees.
Okay.
But to also make sure we have to have the right person on hand.
Sure.
We don't settle for one or two of those categories. We look for both, smart or works hard. But it takes, on average for us, it takes over 200 resumes to find one good person to interview.
Wow.
That's not to hire, that's to interview. And so how we do it to find that the smart, you can always test for IQ. The works hard, you can always ask others, ask employees. Ambitious, you can feel some of that. And the nice, the chemistry, that's hard to figure out. What we do is we bring in, once we get to the last 2 or 3 applicants, we bring them in for the whole team and do a team building exercise that makes that person interact in a way to figure out, do they fit? Do they have the chemistry?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So you really invest a lot in this process and ultimately the company based on all this, work that you're putting into it on the front end.
Right. We retain people for a long time. I've only worked for the company for 17 years, but there's a lot of other people that I work with in my building that have been there for 25, 30 years.
Wow.
And that takes great people.
Yeah.
And to find those great people, it takes a lot of work. But the work up front sure beats the work on the back end trying to get rid of people who aren't great.
Which kind of is a great segue to my next question, which is what doesn't work? What does not work when it comes to employee retention?
What does not work is settling for something less than a swan, someone who's smart, works hard, ambitious, and nice. And a way to retain those people, we have a profit-sharing model that we use. At the end of the year, we take the profit with our company and share it with our employees. And sharing the success of what we do is a big part of how we retain employees, whether it be sharing financial success or sharing with the community, doing outreaches. We do quite a few outreaches with Xylem Goulds, whether it be giving scholarships out to our customers and being a part of that, raising money for Down syndrome and special needs kids in the mountains of North Carolina, which we do with Run for Holland. We had a great run this morning. Thanks, Susan.
Yes, it was awesome. I thought we were running 3 miles and we ran 5, but it was awesome.
And some of us even ran further. We ran 6 because we took a wrong turn, which makes it all the better. But giving back to the community with the watermark projects we've done several of those with Goulds and Xylem. One we did in North Carolina, in Canton. It was awesome. We provided water to a whole community that did not have water. Susan was a big part of that. Yeah,
and Russell was digging rocks out of the ground, and he went up to the site numerous times, worked well with the installer. He was huge in getting that all coordinated, so it was a good team effort there for sure.
So what do you think about this new announcement today with Waterboys?
This sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. What a better way to help people with just clean water. In North Carolina, the Canton project we worked on, people there could not even wash their clothes. The kids couldn't even get to school with clean clothes. Think what we can do with this larger project with this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Just, having Chris Long and bringing awareness to that there are kids and families in America that live without access to water it's going to be pretty amazing for us, I think. So.
The latest Bell and Gossip podcast series on solving water features manufacturers, reps, and Xylem experts discussing industry trends at the 2020 AHR Expo. Get all 10 episodes wherever you listen to podcasts. Do you consider, profit sharing like an incentivization? Because there's this philosophy out there that incentivizing employees, it's a hard balance to strike between that and employee loyalty, right? You want them to want to be there, and you want to give them, I don't want to say rewards for doing good work, but at the same time, if they're only working for a reward, that's not necessarily, always the best course of action. So just curious about your philosophy on how to balance that incentivization side of things with making sure that they're good, nice, loyal employees.
Sure. Well, we pay our people well, but on top of that, the profit sharing model is a great model because that's helping employees do their job right. The market price for any product is the market price. But if you do the job right on the first time, we can share in that success and share the profit that we make at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So we don't send our money to a corporate headquarters. The money stays there, and we divide it up with employees at year end. And that just shows a job well done, and it incentivizes employees to make sure deliveries are correct.
Sure.
To make sure the product is what our customer needs. Product what the customer wants. Mm-hmm. The product was delivered on time. The whole process was done right the first time.
Right.
Because if we don't do everything right the first time, we don't have a profit. And so if we get done correct, there's often extra profit in the first time. We share that profit with everybody. We share the success that we have.
So how did you come up with this model? What factored in your decision to make this a big piece of your business?
Well, this is all part of a Hajoca company. A Hajoca company has been using this model since the 1970s.
Okay.
This model has worked very successfully all across the United States and Canada. They've been using this model, and it's a part of the Hajoca culture. It's our formula to success.
Okay. Great. So just to back up a little bit on this profit sharing, not all of our listeners could maybe offer profit sharing to their employees. So do you have any advice for them as to, what they can do to keep good employees, even if, they can't do the profit sharing model?
Well, a great thing is we've got core values is, one, be fair and caring towards your employees, generous listening, like today, listening. Generous listening is a hard thing in today's environment with so much noise and so much time invested in other things. It's hard to give generous listening to individuals instead of listening to something else, to music, to something other than individuals, other than your teammates, other than your staff.
Right.
So just listening is a huge part of what we do. Trust and respect is another core value that we have.
Okay.
As well as straight talk. Tell people exactly what you want, when you want, and you get the best results.
Yeah, setting expectations always is a good idea.
So I think, I've read a lot about, even though to retain, people don't leave a company, they leave a boss. And it sounds like, even if a company can't have a profit sharing model, it sounds like you guys also have, other things that you do that makes them feel valuable and want to work for your organization as well.
Right. It's all about sharing success. You can change lives by sharing success, whether it be through the profit sharing model or helping folks with clean drinking water or water just to bathe or water to wash their kids' clothes so they can go to school. That makes a difference to employees. That makes a difference to all of us.
Yeah, I've met some of Russell's employees, and I think one of his employees, her daughter was getting married, and because they had such a good year that particular year, Russell was able, she earned enough from the profit sharing to help pay for most of her daughter's wedding.
Wow, that's great.
We've had people use the profit sharing to send their kids to college, We've had people use profit sharing to go on a family vacation, put extra money in their 401k. We had another individual at another location that used the money to build a handicapped porch for his daughter to slide her wheelchair up to watch the birds in the backyard. There's lots of great things that people do with profit sharing. And if you can share that success, they often share with others.
Sure. It sounds like it really embodies that phrase, live to work, or work to live. Wait, huh? How does it go?
Work to live, don't live to work, right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, that's what this sounds like. With this profit sharing, you're able to get, some big goals and help these families meet some big goals that they might have. What about on the flip side of the coin? Like, any insights you can give to employees to help them kind of take advantage of any of these employer-sponsored opportunities, or help them advance in their careers?
Well, our industry is changing. It's changing rapidly. It's all about the age of information. What can you do to better yourself? Can you go to trainings? Goulds Items, for example. Goulds has training classes online. They have schools you can go to. They will also train at your location. They will train on site. How can you better yourself? That's a great way.
Has the changing industry impacted the amount of resumes you get? You said it takes about maybe 200 before you find the right person sometimes. Have you seen any changes in getting that 200 resumes initially?
Well, it depends on how you put the resumes out there, how you put the job out there. There's Indeed, there's other formats to put those resumes out there. But often the best is word of mouth. If you have another great individual they often hang around people like them. We are average of the 5 people around the most. And if you have great employees, who are they around? Are they around 5 other great people? Can they give you a heads up on another great employee that could come down the pipeline? That's often the way to hire anybody. But we have Indeed and Monster and other ways to put the word out there on the jobs we have available.
Sure. Do you guys do phone screenings then, like sort of to get through a pile of resumes that that's significant? Do you do like a phone screening before you invite them in for an interview, or?
On some we do.
Okay.
But our interview process, the first step of our interview process to find that swan, to find that person who's smart, works hard, ambitious, and nice, is we give them an IQ test before we even start.
Okay. So that's part of their application process, essentially.
That is the first thing we do.
Okay.
And so if you're smart enough, we find out, can you work hard enough?
And you've got your threshold set, as to where they need to hit for them to be even considered for the next step, right?
We do, but really, I'm always looking for the next person that's going to replace me. I want to hire the next driver that's going to replace me as a profit center manager. That's the best employee to have.
Great. Well, I think this has been really informative. I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about when they're looking at hiring and finding great employees, and just some other ideas, and maybe they can check out this model that you use.
You can. It's on Hajoca.com.
Oh, okay.
We have our core values. We have our whole system.
Okay.
That we have our core values, our philosophies, our leadership. Philosophies are all online. You can read it today. Whether it be our leadership model, our employee model, which is very simple. It's all online.
Well, great. Well, fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us today, Russell and Susan, and we look forward to having you on another show in the future. The Solving Water podcast is produced and distributed by Xylem, a global water technology company of more than 16,000 employees committed to solving critical water and infrastructure challenges worldwide. Stream, download, and subscribe